Hello everyone, I think it's just about time to look at some more scary pictures. Just to let you guys know, I have been thinking about this. When I say pictures that should have stayed secret, I mean maybe they're not ready for everyone because they are quite disturbing. I think it's good that some of them aren't secret because it means that some real evils in the world have been exposed, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. My name is Danny Burke and this is the top 10 scary pictures that should have stayed secret, part 3. Starting off at number 10 now, we have Edward Paisnell. He's also known as the Beast of Jersey. He was a notorious sex offender who terrorized people on the island of Jersey in the English Channel between 1960 and 1971. This is what he wore when breaking into people's homes at night: a rubber mask and nail-studded wristlets. He would attack women and children. He was convicted of 13 counts of assault. Sadly, that is thought to be only the tip of the iceberg, and there are perhaps many more victims than that. Paisnell was sentenced to 30 years in prison and later died on the Isle of Wight in 1994. Next up at number 9 now, we have Blanche Monnier. In 1901, the Paris Attorney General received an anonymous letter saying that a woman in Paris was being held prisoner against her will. When police arrived at the scene, this was what they saw. Blanche had been locked away in a secret room by her own mother for 25 years. She hadn't even seen sunlight in all of that time. In 1876, at the age of 25, her mother had locked her away after she tried to marry a lawyer who was not to her mother's liking. Her mother and brother continued living their lives after that, pretending to mourn the loss of Blanche, but the whole time she was living in this secret room. When police found her, the mother was arrested, she became ill and died 15 days later. Her brother was found to be mentally incapacitated. As for Blanche, she suffered from mental health problems and lived out the next 12 years of her life in a psychiatric hospital before dying at the age of 64. Next up at number 8 now, we have Reynaldo Dagsa. He was a politician from the Philippines who photographed his family outside of their home on New Year's Day. The moment he took this photo, he was shot and killed by the man you can see in the background of this picture. A member of the Passaway gang claimed to have shot him as retribution for being shot in the head by some of his associates during a shootout months earlier. Now this picture is thought to actually be one of the only examples, if not the only example, of someone capturing their own assassination on film. How mental is that? Moving on to number 7 now, we have Rodney Alcala. He's an American convicted rapist and serial killer who was sentenced to death in California in 2010 for 5 murders committed there between 1977 and 1979. In 1978, he was a contestant on the ABC game show The Dating Game. Here's a picture of him on the show. It's made even more chilling when you realize that by this point he had already killed 2 women. The host introduced him as a successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the darkroom at the age of 13, fully developed. Between takes, you might find him skydiving or motorcycling. He won a date with a contestant on the show called Cheryl Bradshaw. She later refused to go out with him because she found him creepy. Yeah. Seems that her instincts were 100% accurate on that one. Coming in at number 6 now, we have Electrical Charge. Now at first glance, this picture looks like quite a wholesome one. It's a picture of 18-year-old Michael McQuilkin and his 12-year-old brother Sean. The year was 1975 and they had just climbed California's Morro Rock Mountain. Their hair that's standing up from the electrical charge is a sure sign that a lightning strike is about to occur. They didn't heed the warning from nature though, and just moments after this picture was taken, they were struck by lightning. Now some online articles claim that they died, but this wasn't the case. In an interview decades later, Michael said he remembers a flash of white light as bright as arc wielding, a deafening explosion, and a feeling of becoming weightless and being lifted off the ground. They were knocked unconscious and suffered 3rd-degree burns, but learnt their lesson for life. Moving on to number 5 now, we have Omera Sanchez. She was a 13-year-old Colombian girl killed in the aftermath of the 1985 eruption of the Nevada del Ruiz volcano. After her home was destroyed, she was pinned beneath the debris of her own house, where she remained trapped in water for 3 days. When authorities found her, she was in good spirits. They attempted to pull her out, but found the task impossible without breaking her legs in the process. Each time a person tried to pull her up, the water pulled around her, rising so that it seemed she would drown if they let her go. They found that her legs were caught under a door made of bricks, with her dead aunt's arms clutched tightly around her legs. Sanchez eventually died as a result result of either gangrene or hypothermia. The photographer felt the photo was a way to report properly on the courage and the suffering and the dignity of this little girl. Next up at number 4 now, we have Columbine. This picture may look like a normal school photo, but it has a dark story attached to it. It is the class of 99 from Columbine School, taken just a few weeks before the infamous school shooting there that killed 12 students and 1 teacher, as well as injuring a further 21 people. The shooters were Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. In this picture, they can be seen in the top left with their friends pretending to shoot guns. This school shooting is regarded as one of the deadliest high school massacres in US history and sparked debates over gun control laws, high school cliques, subcultures and bullying. Next up at number 3 now, we have Goebbels' glare. This is a picture of Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister and a close friend of Adolf Hitler's. The picture was taken in 1933 during a League of Nations meeting. The picture captures the exact moment that Goebbels realized that the photographer, Alfred Eisenstadt, was Jewish. The hatred in Goebbels' eyes tells the story of a man who pushed Nazi propaganda onto Germans in order to control them and pave the way for the Holocaust in the years to come. 12 years after this photo was taken, on May 1st, 1945, with the Russian army closing in on Berlin and the Nazis defeated, Goebbels and his wife administered cyanide to their 6 children before also killing themselves. Next up at number 2 now, we have animal abuse. This is a picture that will enrage any animal lovers out there. It's of Alina Savchenko. She and her friend Alina Orlova were accused of torturing and killing cats and dogs for occult sexual fetish videos that were sent to China. How bizarre is that sentence? The Russian pair were linked to the case after police linked Orlova to the videos because of a distinctive hand tattoo. They tried to flee as the story gathered over the images, but were eventually detained under house arrest. When she was detained, Savchenko called herself the Devil's Duchess. In one picture, she is shown holding a recently killed puppy's heart with the caption, "It's for you, Anubis," a reference to the ancient Egyptian god of the dead. And finally, number 1 now, we have Panama. We're going to look at more than one picture here, there's quite a few. They are of Dutch tourist Chris Kremers and Lisanne Froon. In 2014, the pair went missing after taking a day hike near the town of Boquete in Panama. These pictures were found on their recovered camera, which contains over 100 photos, all taken within 10 days of the girls going missing. Some locals found bone fragments and a backpack believed to be owned by one of them. Later DNA tests confirmed that the remains did belong to them. The last few pictures are perhaps the most disturbing, taken in the middle of the night in the jungle a full 8 days after the girls went missing. Many people were stumped by the mystery of what happened to them and why they were taking pictures of the jungle after 8 days of being lost. The leading theory is that they fell off a cliff, injuring one of them so that she couldn't move. The uninjured one then waited with her friend for 8 days before leaving her. Why leave in the middle of the night though? Well, some people think something scared her into suddenly leaving. Perhaps a jaguar or other predator. In the end though, both of them died, and these pictures are the only creepy clues as to piecing together what happened. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Time for some of your comments now. Velvet Von Black says, you should do Hawaii. I'm from there, and with the history there, I'm sure you could dig up some great ghost stories / urban legends. There was a lot of creepy places I've been, like the Pali Lookout. Yes, I love that. That's a great idea. I'd love to do a video on Hawaii. Also, as I was reading that comment, I thought, what about Easter Island? We should do a video on Easter Island. I'm sure there's a lot of creepy urban legends about the statues there. Is that something you guys would like? Gagan Deep said, these videos are so scary. It has become impossible for me to sleep alone in my room since I subscribed to this channel. Oh dear, that was never my intention, honestly. On the one hand, I'm glad that these scary videos are doing their job, but on the other hand, don't worry too much about them. The whole reason they're scary is because they are very, very rare. Most of the stories or weird or creepy things I talk about in these videos will never happen to any of us. I hope everything's fine. Thank you for watching. As always guys, my name is Danny Burke and I will see you all in the next video.